panelists. So first, Pamela Yuan from StarHub. Pamela. Chris Seidman from MNC Saatchi. Jill Go from Globe Telecom. I'm going to sit over here. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I'll sit over here. Melissa. Isn't that what I said? Sorry. And Hashwishnu. I can't pronounce your last name. Pamungkas. All right, Hashwishnu is from Telecom. Jill's from Globe. Melissa, StarHub. And Chris is with an agency. So we decided to throw an agency in there. Oh, I got a clicker. I'm with ComScore, and we put this stuff together, but we've got some slides and stuff like that to sort of lead into a few of these questions. Okay, I know you can't see this because we're blocking some of it, but that means that when you take pictures, we'll be in the pictures. So this is a chart that we put out, our Digital Future in Focus recently. And the orange are what we are mobile only, people who use only mobile phones. And the blue, the darker blue, are actually multi-platform. People who use multiple, PC plus mobile. And I'm assuming that's everyone in the audience. Is anyone mobile only? I think it's an age thing. Yeah. Oh, there. And there's still some people who are, the light blue are actually just PC only, if that's possible. Maybe feature phones, that's sort of the stage. Everyone is on mobile. Everyone here is, as part of your day jobs, are essentially mobile only. You focus on mobile from a content perspective, advertising perspective, and social media, right? So I'm going to throw the first question out there. All right, so for you guys, for the telcos, when did your respective companies first decide that content and user experience was actually important?
I'll take a crack.
Jill, go ahead.
I'd like to say since the start of time, but that's not true. Yeah, so as we get heavily into content, every day we actually realize that content experience is actually the key. So of course it starts with great content, but if you don't have the good user experience, it's actually going to kill the content. So much so that today our mantra is customer experience first. Yeah. So more than ever, today our priority is fixing how the customer journey is to access the content.
I mean, let's see. You started selling out just mobile phone sector, sets and subscription plans. Right? When did the UX and content started coming into play?
Okay. Okay. We are in Telkom Indonesia. Now we have Telkomsel. Maybe audience also familiar with Telkomsel, the largest mobile operators. We have around 100 and almost 200 actually subscribers. Actually, it comes maybe around 2 or 3 years ago. We start
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, aware about that, because from the telco perspective, the times when voice and SMS still okay, but it's decreasing very, very soon. And now, what is the next after voice and SMS? I think the answer now is the broadband. But then situation changed. Digital coming very, very hot, very popular. And then the same question raised again. What's next after broadband? So the answer is digital business. That's the time around 3 years ago. We started to believe and we have to transform our company. So we do at least three things. First one is do digitalizations of our products. Maybe it can answer the question, because in digitalization we talk about how we can create the digital service that can fit with our market, not only the voice SMS. That's the so last year. And the second one is we do the digitizations So internally, we transform our company to make more efficient, more agile, and transform all the business process. And the third one, I think this is the most important thing, is we have to do the digital culture adoption. You know, we are still in telco. We have DNA is telco, but we have to change. We have to have the culture of digital. One thing that really disrupt our business process. Now we implement the lean startup, agile design thinking, UI UX is number one. So many things. So we change very quickly.
So Melissa, when did StarHub become socially aware? I'm just kidding.
Social media.
Trick question. We've always been, I mean, content is a very important part of our business. I mean, obviously, we have an entertainment, we carry cable, fiber TV, and OTT as well. But just specifically about content, I think like everyone who, you know, your local telco, a lot of people look forward to the big brand films that the telco will roll out. And traditionally, we will be rolling out these brand films on TV, in outdoor or in cinemas. But I think we are seeing an evolution where the content and the campaigns are moving to other platforms digitally. So on social, we've actually launched some content and campaigns on social first, and that's really something different and new for us because it's not in our DNA to like immediately go to social first. I think like in Asia, many of the legacy brands, we're still struggling with like seeing that, hey, you know, something can actually break on social and have that knowledge and leverage that you can actually go on social. So this year we launched our mobile brand refresh, which is the world's fastest band. I don't know if those of you who have seen the ad. So we put together a bunch of internet personalities, the world's fastest floss dancer, the world's fastest pianist, and these were internet personalities of their own. They have their own following on social. So that's the brilliant part of it, because when you launch a campaign like this, it can have a lot more lifespan because, you know, the people who are then interacting with you on social and who know these personalities will be able to talk to you about them, share with their friends about it, and continue the conversations with, you know, their own communities.
So Chris, from an agency perspective, StarHub aside, are you having to drag brands into content marketing on social, giving them ideas?
Not really. I think in terms of in the mobile space, they're already there. If you look at these stats here, it's no surprise mobile only is led by India and Indonesia. It's a lot of our clients, two of our biggest markets. So they know they need to be mobile first, and that's in terms of the content for one, but the way their spends are with advertising. So across the board, it needs to be mobile first. And if it's not, they're then really not haven't lasted. But I think if you look at the big, a lot of our brands are aligned to these stats. We work with people like, you know, mobile first apps like, you know, Zalora and Grab and these guys. You know, these are young businesses spawned from the mobile age, so they're definitely there. And the ones who aren't have evolved. They've seen that these new brands, these new mobile first brands have come to market, show them how to do it, and everyone's catching up now. So it's happening. Across this region, it's definitely happening.
So Chris led me to the next slide, which is about apps, right? So time on mobile, 80% of the time that's spent on mobile is roughly on mobile apps versus the mobile browser, right? And obviously, you know, apps are important. So for you telcos, like, how do you decide what app to put on?
Okay.
What's important to your user?
Let me share from our perspective. When we realized that we have to be, telecom should be the digital telco, not digital players, we aware that we have to open our capabilities, billings, customer relations, zero ratings, and so forth. And then we analyze our data because we put so many sensors in our networks, so we really understand what kind of service that we have to provide to our customer. So basically, we already decided that telecom will involve and make a role in at least 7 areas in digital. First one is the video, and then music, and then e-commerce, financial technology, and then digital advertisings, and then the travels. Yeah. What is the number? I forgot. Yeah, that's
And
the
social.
Sorry, game.
Gaming.
Games.
Okay.
Yeah. Because games is something really interesting for us, because in worldwide we see that the market is 2.5 times compared to video actually, and in Indonesia the game is rising, and the millennials really enjoy the games service from us. Yeah. So that's 7 areas that we pick to be focused on.
Jill, do you have similar areas that you want to
Very
fill up?
similar, but we'd like to call it the strategy pillars of Globe would be anchored on watch, listen, play, learn, shop, and more verbs. So watch obviously is videos. Listen would be all of your music elements. Play would be your gaming elements, and social is a big sharing culture in the Philippines. We're the social media capital of the world. So how do we choose the partnerships? First, we look at best in class, whether it's local or foreign. That's why one of the first forays of Globe in the field of OTT content was, of course, the social elements. Facebook was a landmark partnership. We were actually the motivation for Internet.org today. We were the first telco in the world who actually zero-rated Facebook, and which is the catalyst for the growth of Globe in terms of revenue market share in mobile data. And then we look at, let's say, best of breed, and we talk about video. And NBA is actually a religion in the Philippines. So Spotify is also the anchor as far as music. So we choose the partnerships very well as far as these pillars are concerned. And of course, we listen to the customers. Sometimes we discover apps that are basically just emerging. So Musical.ly is one of such partnerships that were the first telco partnership of Musical.ly also. So we look at the emerging ones through the stats in the App Store, and we try to search for these best of breed partners and bring it to not just the Philippines, but also breaking into Southeast Asia.
So Melissa, you look at the social channels, right? How effectively are you using that to inform the departments what to do, what apps to put on?
Well, I think like the onus would be to drive to your own apps. So obviously we have our own StarHub app, and that's a self-help app that allows you to check your balances. You can activate a value-added service, like if you want to do your overseas roaming. You can modify your TV plans and things like that. So it's a self-help app for all our customers. But I think like for most of the telcos, we had this problem back then where every time there is an idea, you come up with an app for it. So it was very fragmented. There was an app for just rewards. There was an app for, different lines of businesses wanted their own apps. But then I think like there was a call for everyone to come together, and in fact we've sunset quite a number of all those other apps, and everything is then concentrated on that one StarHub app now, so that it's that one-stop shop for everyone to go to. And of course the main thing is the insights. Then you can get everything in a consolidated way of that complete view of your customer.
So Chris, are you actually actively trying to get some of your clients' apps like into the front and center?
Yeah, I think it's important to build good relationships with the telcos across the region. I know that Telkomsel, for example, do a great preload opportunity for brands. So yeah, when a user's turning on the device the first time, having your app there front and center is fantastic. The other thing I'd recommend as well on top of that is to be relationships with the device manufacturers and also the app stores. If you want to be front and center, your app's there, then build a strong relationship with Apple and Google. Be on there because their app stores are like the high street for the app ecosystem. So and those app stores are editorial driven a lot more now than they've ever been. So you need to, what these guys said about how they choose their partnerships with apps. It's Apple and Google are doing the same thing, and you need to have something which is unique, can add value, and then you'll get those those premium spaces on the front page of Google Play and Apple. Yeah.
So I've got this, the next slide is about what we call encouraging growth for non-duopoly apps or properties on mobile, right? So this is, non-Google, non-Facebook, right? Because it's quite easy. So Jill, you sort of touched on this earlier about trying to get apps that users want. Are you actively working hard to get local apps, local news apps, local whatever, content, language?
There's great local content, and there are actually great content providers, but it's not necessarily locally made. For example, in the Philippines, if you're looking at, let's say, the more pervasive local apps, of course, you have the most predominant one would probably be ABS-CBN's I Want TV, because they've been there for the longest time. They were one of the pioneers. But a lot of our partners that are actually not Philippine-made, like Hook, VU, iFlix is also in the Philippines. They actually have a lot of localized content as well. So it's the differentiation point in terms of how they localize that makes them relevant in the market.
Always new?
Okay. For the digital, now for the video, we have partnership with several big names, like maybe we have iFlix, and then Hook and Catchplay from Taiwan. But the question is about the local, right? So actually it goes back to our policy in innovation actually, because the local innovation should be nurtured. So basically telecom, because we are also belongs to government, we are state-owned enterprise, we participate also what we call in telecom is from creativity to commerce. So first we also put around 17 co-working space to nurture the community. People from college, from high school, they can go and have some workshop and trainings and so forth. And then goes back to, and then the process will be on the creative center. In this, we also grow our local startup. We have several in telecom we call Digital Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're investing in companies and then saying, all right, you can be on me if I invest in you because I like you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have around.
That's a good way to do it.
for city, for Digital Valley, but also we have business arm for venture capital. It's all MDI, Metra Digital Investama. It's around 27 startups already funded by them. But this is all the external innovation actually from telecom perspective. And starting this year, we open up our internal innovations. So now we have policy that, let's say I and 2 or 3 colleagues, we have same idea and we want to do like startup mode. The human capital policy already changed, so they will allow us and facilitate us to do the lean startup and like internal startups. That's the way for us to grow the local from external company and also in internal company. Yeah.
Are you StarHub investing in companies and stuff like that too? And
Well,
SGGAG, I don't know.
Not exactly in my area, but I think that from a telco perspective, we often look for, okay, the beauty of a telco is that we can zero rate apps, right? So obviously we would zero rate our own apps. So we do have an OTT service that's zero rated, StarHub Go. And also we will often look for partnerships to supplement or complement our business, what we don't have in our business. So one of the apps that we are zero rating as well is the SPH app. So that's the local newspaper, local radio stations as well. That's from SPH. So that's also a way, to kind of like grow your business in a way that I don't have to own someone to be able to have that to have that reach to the other parts of the marketplace that I can't touch right now.
All right, so the next one I have is, you want to say
Before you
something?
go there, yes,
Sure.
I just touch on the point in terms of, let's say, content localization. Not just about partnerships, but in Globe, we try to originate content also on our own, in the sense that we are getting into live events production and also short form and long form video production, all the way to theatrical releases as well. So it's a good way to synergize the approach in terms of, let's say, content in general. So not just distribution, but also origination right now.
Well, you led right into it, because I was talking about video. That was the next one, right? Video consumption on mobiles is just picking up everywhere around the world. You've seen the kids on train stations and in cars, buses, and everything. So how important, how important is video streaming strategy? I mean, live video streaming on mobiles. That's crazy, right?
Yes.
Bandwidth-wise.
Yeah. We have analyzed the market, and we understand in Indonesia, video market values around 1 billion USD. So we intensively build our capabilities also to offer the service. First one is we also partners with several channel providers. We also have IPTV, which is last year we have around 3 millions, and this year I think we are optimistic to touch around 5.2 millions. And then in broadbands, our broadband for mobiles, it around 105 million users. So video is very, very, very sexy for the users. And we also create our OTT apps together with some partners, like I have mentioned before. Yeah.
Do you have like special bandwidth dedicated for YouTube? You don't have to answer that. I'll throw that at Jill. Do they pay more? What?
There's no dedicated bandwidth, no. But video is a big part of our strategy, and not necessarily just for entertainment, but also gaming. Because as far as data burn is concerned, those two are actually very closely interrelated, because gaming is in a way consuming it by way of watching. So as mentioned, it has become very important for Globe in a sense that we just don't distribute it, but we also are now into content creation as far as video is concerned.
Video advertising on mobile, is that increasingly becoming more and more requests from clients?
Yeah, it's growing hugely in line with consumers' consumption habits. The investment that big companies are making in the video content, you see how much Netflix invest in billions of dollars. It's just all the money they make straight back into content creation. And the ads, I know that Netflix hasn't monetized that yet, but you look at in the US, these are US stats, so someone like Hulu, I know they've monetized that, and those kind of, you can do that with local providers here, people like View, for example, you can do opportunities there. So it's growing, and it's driven by mobile, so there's a lot of mobile video opportunities. And what's interesting, particularly in the gaming category, is quite interesting, is because you don't have, I think brands have got a huge opportunity in video gaming opportunities because of the fact that it's not user-generated content in gaming, and the overlay of that is really, it's a huge inventory pool to target. A lot of advertisers are focusing more on video in a web environment, not as much in-app. There's huge streams of in-app inventory available, or video in-app, which is just there, no one's taking. So we're highlighting to our clients, take it. Now it's cheap, it will get more expensive, go for it.
Any thoughts on this, Melissa? in terms of from a social
Well,
perspective?
video is the #1 format on social, right? So that's definitely, as much as we can, we are trying to produce video for most of our content that we roll out on our socials. And of course, like just making sure that all the best-in-class practices are put in place. Your first 4 seconds has to be extremely, extremely enticing. Your thumbnails have to be your most appealing visual possible. So yeah, video is definitely really important. And I think like, especially on social, because you're getting so much content that's coming your way. A lot of people say that on social you can do cheap videos. You can do things that you can quickly turn around within 4 hours. You can, but also then you're competing with the people who are putting in 36 days into a video as well. So I think the main thing about video and social is that it still has to be really compelling. You have to give people that reason, that USP of why are they tuning in. Is it because you're offering some really attractive promotion, or it's entertaining, it's funny, you have a great talent that's in there. So you still have to prove your worth when it comes to video and social.
I'm running out of time. I'm going to skip this one and go straight in social. So this chart shows the categories, right? Entertainment, which is where YouTube sits. This is time spent, right? Social media, instant messaging, and games. So the light blue is social media, and that's where people spend most of their time on their phones, right? So how are you using social media to engage your users, your subscribers, and other stuff, and how does it affect your content strategy?
Okay. For telecom, social media is something very vital for us. Firstly, because we still have DNA in telco business. Social media is our new interface to communicate with our customer. So now we also allows our customer to complaints or asking for upgrade and so forth through the social media, Twitter and other names. On the other hand, when we, as I mentioned in the previous, we also implement new digital culture, meaning that when we create a product, not only the UI UX, but also how can easily the apps can be growth. And social media plays a very dominant role in that place, because digital campaign is very effective for us, and we study a lot for them, and we implement so many techniques to do. Maybe in digital already aware about the growth discipline, the growth hacking methodology. That's something that now we are implementing in our digital units to create and to have a new service in digital. And also in our legacy business, that's our new channels to interact and communicate with our customer. So we have, let's say we have 360 degrees of users' profiles.
Jill, I mean,
to my mind,
Philippines is huge. It's still more social than any other market.
For us, social is actually multidimensional. We approach it both on a product perspective, marketing perspective, and frontline communication perspective also. So product layer, we of course ensure that we have a very good structure in terms of offering social media products by way of giving, let's say, free data packets that people can actually be given when they buy mobile data packs. So that in a sense already gives it traction, because it's essentially free data if they buy the data plan. They can choose a Facebook as a free content and then use it as a free data packet if they buy our MDS. Second, of course, campaign. It's an essential part of any campaign that we have for any go-to-market. And lastly, in terms of communicating with our customers, it's now the new way of communicating for frontline servicing, whether it's chatbots through Facebook or Twitter. So it's multi-dimension. We use social media in all aspects of the process.
Melissa, with users?
So, I mean, of course, like in the Philippines and Indonesia, customer care, that's one of the given. The secondly, content, that's another big thing. But for us, there are two others. So one is social listening. So we listen a lot to what people are talking about, not necessarily just on our page, but just generally what people are talking about with StarHub, with our products. And then we'll be able to address and put together like analytics and feedback in reports to give back to then our product teams. They know what their new launches are in terms of like the kind of verbatim that's coming back. When we have a crisis, that's always a big one, to have that social listening on what's happening on ground. And then the other thing would be to have brand advocacy, to inspire brand advocacy. So we do that to, of course, UGC, which a lot of companies are doing that as well, letting your customers be the face of the content that you're rolling out, putting them in the spotlight. And the second thing is to identify then the people that are coming to your pages and they are positive brand advocates. And we sometimes do recruit them. We are pioneering a program right now where we have customers that are on board into this program, and we kind of groom them and nurture them to be kind of like micro influencers of sort, to talk about our brand and give them the tools and the necessary insights and sneak peeks into our products that nobody else in Singapore is able to see, and give them that kind of insider feel to what we're doing. So that's how we build the brand advocates on social for us.
Chris, any thoughts on social brands? Is it still popular?
I think it's quite interesting to look at these stats. Is that I'd love to see the breakdown of engagement within these areas, because it's time spent. But everyone goes on social apps and it's a lot of scrolling. Is it quality time in those apps? And I'd imagine in the gaming category and entertainment, there's probably a deeper level of engagement. And there's no surprise why Twitter and Facebook are getting in sports rights now, because they understand that that's what the entertainment category is strong engagement level. You got IGTV with Facebook, and Twitter have had like the tennis and all these things. So it's clear that that's where things are heading towards. It's not just social, isn't just a social app anymore. It's going into the full entertainment spectrum as well, which is fascinating development.
Yeah, I'm 5 minutes over now apparently. Any questions? Any burning questions from anybody? Go ahead. Yeah, you're it. Yeah, just I'll repeat it. Just.
Okay. I just wondered, with the advent of G5, how is it going to change the delivery of 1,000 tons?
Hello. Just with G5
5G,
coming up,
5G, yeah.
how is it going to change how telcos deliver to the public, and what kind of things are you implementing?
First off, who has 5G plans?
Definitely.
We have do some test bed now.
All right. So what do you think? How's it going to affect your content strategy, everything you do, everything you?
For Globe, it's actually from a network layer in terms of efficiency. Also, how we actually propagate connectivity in the fragmented regions, because we have 7,000 islands. That's from an access perspective, but also from a content perspective, we're doing a lot of, let's say, use cases right now for rich media. So we're interested in how to fortify our foray into media and gaming also by way of 5G use cases.
For us in telecom, especially for Telkomsel, our subsidiary, now we are in test bed, and I am piloting in some areas. We believe that 5G is, we call it like a business enabler. Open up a new market, open up a new service, which is maybe more real time, more in a very short time can response. So we can utilize maybe in IoT and so many maybe e-health, more like a distant service, like maybe learning or health or something like that. But maybe it's opened a new opportunity for us actually. Yeah.
It's a big investment.
I think so.
All right, I have one last one, and then we need to close off. So the second most used category was obviously instant messaging, and WhatsApp is really Facebook Messenger is still in the U.S. They stick to Facebook Messenger. They don't do WhatsApp too much, but everywhere else, well, almost everywhere else, UK as well, definitely in Asia, it's WhatsApp. Have you talked to these guys about monetizing WhatsApp?
For now, yeah, messaging is still, yeah, we don't have a special charge for them, but we believe that we're going to explore a new way to create our service in messaging, because the perspective is not considering WhatsApp as a messaging service, but how to make platforms, meaning that we have to open, because now WhatsApp hasn't opened yet for others. So we believe that if we want to have a sustainability growth and in business, the platform should be an open platform. That's the way we can have a new platform and for messaging, and also becoming a new foundations for us. Maybe we can not just create messaging at the first day. Yeah, we can come from. In Indonesia, actually, there's a TikTok application already quite popular. Actually, TikTok coming from the video and mimicking some songs, and then it becoming the platform. So that's the way to do that, to do the messaging.
Jill, I mean, you can't. They have the users already. Like, how do you take advantage of that?
Well, WhatsApp is just one of the many pervasive social and OTT messaging platforms in country. So the way to monetize that is obviously in terms of, let's say, habituating. They're your Trojan horse, so to speak, in terms of journeying customers from the legacy traditional messaging over to the richer side of messaging. Facebook is predominant. Facebook Messenger is instant messaging is actually predominant also in the region. So it's all about monetizing a lot of the packs of OTT messaging, not just WhatsApp.
Melissa, have you talked to Facebook at all about WhatsApp, and can you unlock value from there?
So we haven't gone into, we're not looking at WhatsApp as for now, primarily still Facebook Messenger for us as well in terms of customer care. But I think like the talk internally is trying to see, should we still continue to exist on a third-party platform like Messenger or Facebook? You know, do we want to bring it in-house into your own apps, you know, have care within the app itself?
But you have the mobile numbers already, right? So you can actually start chatting with them on WhatsApp anyway, right?
That's called PDPA.
Any last thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, it's not something which has been pushed out, and I can't speak for what Facebook's plans are for WhatsApp, but there was an interesting product they pushed out recently where they're using WhatsApp as more a customer service CRM support system. So if brands can use Facebook ads to say, look, if you want to connect or you need help, support on a certain issues, it's basically they have a call to action saying chat here, and you click through and it takes you through to WhatsApp, where you'll have a conversation with a representative from that brand to discuss, you know, or any issue you have or something like that. So I don't know if that means it's the start of them starting to connect the two, but for now it's more of just a customer service tool we're using.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. But I mean, last thought, I hope that they never connect Facebook Messenger with WhatsApp, I mean, from a personal perspective. Okay, thank you very much. I've gotten the fact that we're over time. So thank you very much for being on the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.